Hi everyone, I'm Sam Gentleman. I'm here to talk about my experience at Tekzenit. So, what is Tekzenit? Well, Tekzenit is a medium-sized international consulting company that's based in Irving, Texas, and they also focus on three things when they're working with clients: user interface, user experience, and software development. Now, what is it like being a software architect at Tekzenit? Well, first you gotta get used to the layout of the building. The building is based in a huge apartment building. It has one floor. So there's four different departments. There's IT, development, human resources, and of course, creative design. So the creative design department and the development department both work together to make beautiful web applications while making them really user-friendly. I, of course, worked in the development department, and I sat next to and shadowed Ryan Lesson, who is now a senior level developer. So even though my internship was unpaid, that didn't mean that I was excluded from anything that was going on in the office. I still held responsibilities like attending both development meetings and project meetings, as well as learning how to code itself. And finally, working on my main project, which I'll cover in a moment. So what's office life like at Tekzenit? Well, office life includes a lot of teamwork. Teamwork is one of the biggest skills that you can have coming in, and also one of the biggest skills to have when being a developer. It's also great to have that second pair of eyes to look at your code just in case you're missing a mistake and you just can't find it. So next, education. You have to be able to learn on and off the job. No matter what it is, we need to adapt and create solutions. The community is very diverse, and it's very easy to get a hold of anyone. Through either face-to-face conversation, emails, or using Slack, you can really always be in contact with your team members and get anything done. And a big thing inside the office was conference rooms. Conference rooms is where teams can meet. It gives you a quiet place to work, or it gives you a nice place to discuss or draw on the walls to plan out projects or plans. So the break room is honestly one of the most important places. So the reason why you might be thinking, or you might be confused, is because there's free snacks in there. Who doesn't love free snacks? And another big thing is when you're sitting on your computer just crunching code all day and you hit that one problem that you just, that's that 15-minute break in the break room, and getting back into it always helps. So first, before I go into my main project, I'd like to cover my education at Tekzenit. When I came in, I originally knew little to nothing about coding. So here's how here's how I evolved in the world of coding. So first, I started with the fundamentals. I started using step-by-step online tutorials like Code Academy. Next, I moved on to receiving assignments from who I was shadowing, Ryan, and the assignments would require me to finish something in a time frame, as well as possibly learn something new if I had to. Learning how to use Google is the most important skill in any job, and that is something that I learned most especially here. Learning how to use Google, being able to Google things or ask questions. Next, I would move on to get lessons on how to use Git. Also, how to navigate the document object model, as well as using the command line, as well as some concepts in coding when I needed it. Next, I moved on to shadowing Ryan while he worked, and Ryan would work on main projects, usually with teams or sometimes by himself, so it was really cool to see what he was working on, and it led to me being able to understand code in the future. After that, I moved on to going to the web documentation for Angular 4, which is the first framework I've ever learned. And I taught myself just using the documentation straight up. This moves on into creating my own web application. My web application uses Mongo database, Express.js, Angular 4, and Node.js to create the mean stack. And coding wasn't the only thing I was developing. Of course, I had to develop my sense of humor. So the password manager was my main project for it. The manager is built using the mean stack, as I stated previously, and it's on GitHub. I am currently still developing the project, and I created everything from the little icons you see to the hard code. Next, I'm going to cover the loves and dislikes about the company. And yes, I use the word loves and dislikes very, I'm very aware of the two words that I use. So, we'll start with my loves. So, one of my loves is being able to work and make connections with the employers and coworkers there. Next, the friendliness of my coworkers felt like I was at home, yet I was so far away from it. The support I got from my director, Chris Clark, and Ryan Lesson, and of course the development team was huge in being able to accomplish such goals. And also, I was able to talk to the CEO, and the CEO was very friendly and understanding, and I can definitely tell that he sets the tone for the whole company. Creating and designing my own web application, because who doesn't love creating their own thing? Comfortable dress code, because I just love being comfortable whenever I do something that I like to do. So, and of course, I could never forget my one true love, coding. Now, I didn't have many dislikes, but there was one major dislike that I did hate to see. And that was whenever I was working on my project, I would see this message. So, results of my internship. So, in views of my career path, the internship has definitely showed me my way. I for sure want to be a developer. I also want to mix in a little bit of information technology where it can be, but I think developing is definitely something in my future. I also think that being at Tekzenit has opened my eyes and has allowed me to see what I want to look for in a future company. Now, what I learned personally at Tekzenit was being in that professional office environment. It's just how to be there, how to really work and get stuff done there. How to Google, of course I talked about it, one of the great, biggest skills you can have. And of course, concepts of coding that allows me to teach myself other languages, so I can always adapt to any problem. Next, I would be able to, of course, understand code even if it wasn't written by myself, and I always make sure that my code is absolutely CRUD. Now, you might be thinking that CRUD is a bad thing, but CRUD stands for code that you can create, repeat, update, or delete. So, in conclusion, I'm really happy to say it. I loved my time at Tekzenit, and I had a beautiful experience. I'm still continuing to develop a password manager, and I still plan on learning and just learning code and just keep on going. The internship certainly matched my goals. In fact, if anything, it only blew them out of the water. Working in a professional environment has really showed me something that I wouldn't have been able to see if I didn't intern otherwise. So I feel that the internship really made me also love coding. Now, coding is challenging and not a lot of people can say that they like it. Well, I don't think it's as challenging. All it takes is a little bit of determination, a little bit of coffee, and of course, Stack Overflow. Thank you very much.